So we're going to look at the Fred W. Hooper Stakes. It's a Grade 3. It's the 11th race on the Pegasus World Cup card on Saturday at Gulfstream. And it's running a mile, and it's for 4-year-olds and up. And if we take a look at this field, certainly Hejazi pops out right away as being a horse we want to keep an eye on. Looking at this field overall, to me, there's a lot of retreads, and they're just kind of horses who were cut below the very best, sort of that ungraded, grade 3 type of horse. And there's a lot of issues with quite a few of them, and the most common one I find more than anything else is the will to win. And that is what has been in the back of my mind looking at every one of these horses. And so we want to keep that in mind, I think, as we take a look at this field. Going through them one by one, Expressman is a Todd Pletcher trainee. He got a 107 buyer in his very first race. But as the class progressed, he was not able to build on that. And he's been off for quite some time. I think it does show something that Pletcher's willing to debut him, bring him back in a graded stakes race. But his track record as the class was increasing prior to the layoff wasn't really the greatest. And he certainly got an inside post. I think that's going to help. This is a one-turn mile, we have to remember, at Gulfstream. And he's going to have some company on the lead, most notably Hejazi and Giant Game, probably more than likely. Not overly certain of that, but there's a lot of pace pressers in this race. So coming back off a layoff for a horse who's a little suspect at the class, I think is a pretty tall order, and I'm going to wait and see with him and let him beat me. Giant Game, really the issue for me more than anything else is that this is a one-turn race. Giant Game is a big horse, and they tend to like 2 turns, a little more time to relax and settle. He's going to be basically going all out from the get-go in this one. And I don't know that this necessarily sets up the best for him. I think he's got talent. And, if this was a 2-turn mile, I'd give him a little more of a chance. But I just can't get out of my mind the fact that he's a big horse and the way he runs, that the 1-turn mile maybe not going to set up too well for him, particularly with the other speed burners in here, some of them. So Giant Game, I'm going to pass. Hejazi, in all honesty, the way I look at it, if he can't win this race, then he can't win. He has a natural speed edge over most of this field. He's going to be in ideal position in the one hole to get exactly to where he wants to. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get on the lead and just try to gut it out. But then there's the rub, guts. I don't know that this horse has any. He seems to never meet a challenge and overcome it. Time and again, we've watched this horse fade, whether it be the distance or whether it be the competition. Just throughout the course of his career, this horse has plenty of speed. There's no doubt about it. I just wonder if when he gets met in the eye, if he can rise to it and win this race. We'll see. But this is a race that he should win, but it's not cast in stone. Cyclone Mischief, we remember from the Derby Trail last year. He was hit or miss. The one thing I've noted is that he is better with Lasix and doesn't have it here. And he is debuting at 4. The fact that Giant Game is in this race as well, we kind of wonder about that from Dale Romans, trains them both. Cyclone Mischief, I'm going to wait and see with him too. He could very well have progressed from 3, but I tend to believe that we'll need to see a race out of him. Dream Kona just isn't good enough. He doesn't have the top end. He hasn't progressed any over the course of his 3-year-old campaign, where he wasn't as good as the top horses. And I think that's more of the same here. And, they've been taking him off the pace, and he did get kind of a non-factor 3rd last time, and maybe that's the limit. Maybe he can clunk up for 3rd, but I highly doubt it, and I'm just not going to use him. Castle Chaos is he's dual entered, but I think it's likely that he'll go in this race, being a more of a class relief. He's not doing too bad his last couple of starts, but he did get his last the third he got last time was kind of a non-factor third. He wasn't really that much involved in the race, and so I just don't. I got to go either way. I think underneath, if you like them, use them, but you're probably going to get a price. But I don't really see it. Accretive has certainly shown some talent, but the thing is, he doesn't win a lot. And again, that's kind of the MO for a lot of horses in here, and he's more of a sprinter than he is a miler. But certainly at Gulfstream, he should be able to carry his speed for the distance, and I think that he can provide certainly a challenge to Hejazi early on. But whether or not he can close the deal, that's the thing I kind of wonder about. Firing fresh, I mean, Chad Brown's barn is not going well right now at all. They're 0 for 26, which just continues to boggle my mind. But Accretive, this is a spot he could certainly win this race. I just wonder about the desire to win it more than anything else. But he's one that I think we can use comfortably. Great navigator. I don't think with the other horses in this race who like to run the way he does, being parked out in the 10 hole, I think he's kind of going to get marooned there. And I don't know that he has the top end to overcome that post, so I'm going to pass. Now, if we talk about horses who like to win, who have the guts, I think Tumbarumba is one that does. There's no sin. The last race he lost to Touch Upon a Star. Everybody does at Remington Park. It was a 4-horse field. I thought he kept on well, and he showed some guts, not throwing in the towel when Touch Upon a Star had the race. He kept fighting on. The race prior to that, he also showed some grit. He did have it on the rail, and he had things his own way in the Oklahoma Derby a little bit. But I think he showed that he's got some fight in him, and that I think is a very important factor. And you can't see it on the PPs; you have to see it when you watch the horse. But that's what I really like about Tumbarumba. Now he's in the 11 hole, that's true, and it is not going to be easy for him. But he will be laying all the horses off the pace, and if he can work out a trip and get into position, I think he'll meet Hejazi in the eye and go right by. That's just the hunch I have about it, and I think you're probably going to get a decent price. So Tumbarumba, to me, looks like a horse who wants to win, and that's what I like the most about him. Steel Sunshine is cutting back to 1 turn. It's a distance that he likes, and he's very solid at Gulfstream. He's got 4 wins and 7 starts. This one is another one who kind of never quite finishes the deal. But, excuse me, I think he's going to be in good position. I think he'll be able to get where he wants to just off the speed. And I have a feeling that cutting back to 1 turn is going to be what this horse wants. And I think one that he should be able to pounce upon the speed at the top of the turn if he's in position. And I like Steel Sunshine in this spot as well. Gilmore is one that, he's safe for the Woody Stevens. He really hasn't done a whole lot, and he's another one that seems to be stalled in progress-wise. And I don't know that he's really got the will to win from what I can see, from what we have seen from him. He's been a disappointment a time or two when we thought he might give a better effort. So can he factor in this race in terms of getting into the money? Sure. But I don't like him to win it. I just don't think the will is there. Signator is parked out in the 12 hole, and that's not that much of an issue considering he's a late runner. Shug McGay, he scratched this one out of the Tropical Park turf to run here, so I think that's a good sign. This one has some promise, has some talent. He was highly regarded as a 2-year-old and had some issues at 3, but I think this one has some talent. I think he's one we're going to be keeping an eye on over the course of the year. I think that he can make a move forward if he does, and he can work out a trip coming from behind. Not easy to win at Gulfstream, particularly around 1 turn coming from the rear, but Signator, with a move forward, might be able to take advantage. And if he can work out a trip, has a shot. I think under is probably more likely, but I think he's one that we can certainly use comfortably. So if we look at our wagering strategy, I'm going with Tumbarumba. I haven't seen the morning line yet at the time of recording this, but I think you're probably going to get a pretty good price, and I like the will to win. That's what, to me, separates him from quite a few in here. Hejazi certainly has the talent to win this race and could very well do it if he can just get out on the lead and be gone. I don't know who's going to go catch him. That could very well be the strategy. It wouldn't surprise me. But if he does have somebody meet him in the eye in the stretch, I think that's where he falls short. So I'm willing to take a chance with Tumbarumba. Going to use him on top in a key exacta box with Hejazi, Accretive, and Steel Sunshine. I think those are the most prominent horses most likely to win this. And then we'll go with a 1-3-11 exacta box. And don't normally like to do that, but I think that Hejazi's, again, on talent, I think he can win this race. But I like Steel Sunshine and I like Tumbarumba in terms of what they bring to the table in terms of fight. So those are the three. Accretive, I'm not so sure about. So I want to box those three, and we should get a price from Tumbarumba or Steel Sunshine if they can get it done. And then the trifecta. Again, we're gonna go with Tumbarumba keyed in first, and then we'll have 1-3-8 in second, and then we'll go 1-3-6-8-12 in third, and then we will also run a trifecta with 1-3-8 on top, 11 second, and then 1-3-6-8-12 in third. So I think we, to me, distilling this race again, the will to win, I think is what's important. And Tumbarumba, to me, is the horse that has the greatest will. And if he can, he's going to have to run a good one to beat Hejazi. There's no question about it. But I've seen Hejazi wilt too many times when faced with competition. So that's why I think it's worth taking a chance against him, and hopefully we'll get a decent price.